What's going on, everyone? So Patrick Beverley, be a little bit of a character, right? He's definitely entertaining. He says some stuff sometimes where you're just kind of like, really, really. But he recently talked about Victor Wembanyama, and he talked about how he believes that Victor Wembanyama is going to be the best player in the league next season. And I want to kind of go over what he said exactly. And then, of course, hear your thoughts and opinions. And, of course, I'm going to give mine. So let me know down in the comments below. But let's get into what Patrick Beverley said. So he said he's not a 5, right? Patrick Beverley said on his podcast, 43-35 mark, after ranking the best centers in the league. He's everything. Like, you can't even put him in comparison with other people. He's the best player in the NBA next year. He's a center who shoots threes and dribbles the ball. Just because you're 7'4" doesn't make you a center. You're talking about a guy who are centers who come out and set screen and rolls. None of those guys that we are naming come up and shoot hezzy pull-up threes. Maybe Joel Embiid a little bit, but that's it. It's not fair for him to give him a position. He's an alien. He's positionless. Now, again, Patrick Beverley can say some stuff that you're kind of like, I actually don't think this is very far-fetched. Now, I don't believe Victor Wembanyama will be the best player in the league next year, but I do believe that he is in many ways positionless. I do believe he's an alien. I do believe he's a guy that is capable of doing a little bit of everything. I've even said I don't hate the idea of even kind of sliding him over to the 4, right? But that's the beauty of him. His ability to cover so much ground, particularly on the defensive side of things. But as far as him, and I think that this is a good place to start, as far as him being the best player in the league next year. Now, I'm not going to put a ceiling on him, right? Because, look, I love it, right? Strive for that. I do believe he's going to be the best player in the league sooner rather than later, but it's year 2, right? I don't want to I want to have realistic expectations. I do believe last season he was arguably top 15 player. And I don't think that is even that big of an argument, right? I think he was a top 15, but he was the best defensive player in the league last year, right? If Rudy Gobert, I mean, he shouldn't even have won it, but no, if he doesn't win it, it's probably Victor Wembanyama. I mean, Victor was the best at everything defensively last year, right? Like, if it not Victor, Anthony Davis should have won it. Like, Anthony Davis and Victor Wembanyama are probably the 2 best defensive big men in the league, right? Because of their versatility, the ground they cover, all of that. Victor Wembanyama's ability to score the basketball and just do so much on the offensive side of things, I think, is another big reason why. And he's only going to improve. He's only going to get better. I think him playing for France and making it to the gold medal game, and even though he lost, I think that was great experience for him. I think he's going to have a chip on his shoulder. And then you have just the natural progression and growth. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if Victor is a 27 to 30 point a game guy next season, which you could argue kind of would put him in that conversation. But, again, being the best player in the NBA comes with, certain criteria, right? And where does the Spurs land, right? Because, the Spurs made a lot of moves this offseason. They went and got Stephon Castle via the draft, and that's supposed to be kind of their point guard of the future. They brought in Chris Paul, which I think is the best move they could have done. And we're going to touch more on Chris Paul here in a moment. But, I just think his development, like what he's going to be able to do, how easy he's going to make it for Wemby, all that stuff. Again, we'll dive into that here more in a moment. But, Harrison Barnes coming in gives you a vet that has won a championship. It was a big part of that first Golden State championship. And, a guy that has experience, plays his role. He's not going to take away from Victor or any of the other guys, right? He understands what he's there for. He's going to help grow and develop guys, right? Like, I think the Spurs approach this great. I think they're going to be much better. I think they're going to win quite a few games. But where do they rank, right? If Victor is really the best player in the NBA, then he's got to be at least a top 5 seed at worst. Right? I mean, you think of some of the best players in the league, and it's like, I mean, look at some of those, like, LeBron teams. like Gauskas, Verajao, right? Like Eric Snow, like Mo Williams, like come on, right? Like it's just to reach that height, reach that, like if you put Jokic on Detroit, right? Detroit's probably a playoff team, right? Like so again, it's just the expectations. I don't know, like would I be shocked if the Spurs made the playoffs? No. Right? Would I be shocked if the Spurs are top 6 seed? No. Right? I think it's more likely that they're a play-in team this year, which that's a great achievement in and of itself. To go from winning 22 games last year to now you're a play-in team, and maybe you win a couple games, now you're in the playoffs, right? And look, right matchups, couple dominoes kind of fall your way. Next thing you know, you look up, you're in the conference finals. Like again, I'm not going to put a limitation on what Victor can be year 2, but I also want to be able to allow him to grow and develop and give him time, right? Like I don't expect him year 2 to lead the Spurs to an NBA champion. I want to keep expectations and thoughts and be mindful to give him an opportunity. Like so many people want guys to be great so fast and have such ridiculous expectations at times. Even I mean Wemby, even before he came into the league, had some insane expectations. I mean people were already crowning him the GOAT. I mean there was God created Wemby to end the Jordan and LeBron debate. Like can we slow down a little bit? Can we let the kid play a game or two? And look, he was unbelievable. Right? Like again, I put him in the top 15 last season. As a rookie, that is ridiculous. Right? And you think of all the talent and players that are in the NBA right now, to say that Wemby could be a top, like that is ridiculous. Right? So I do think he can move into that top 10 maybe. I think we could, get through the end of the season and be like, man, yeah, Wemby's a top 10 player. Best defense player in the league, wins defense player of the year. He's maybe got an MVP vote or something like that. If he's like 27, 20, let's say 25 a game and the best defense player in the league, then yeah, I do think that there is he's a top 10 player. Right? Like, now, could he move into like maybe the top 7, top 5 maybe? Yes. But to be the best player, right? Like, usually that's saved for, somebody that won the MVP and won an NBA championship. And, it's just like Jokic wins a championship. And it's just like, man, he's the best player. Right? Like, again, I don't want to, like, there's a bar. And yes, the bar can be a little waney at times, but there is this thought of like what you need to accomplish and where you need to be the best player in the league. And I don't expect Wemby to be there. But here's the other thing. This is why I wanted to wait for Chris Paul. Again, I think Chris Paul is the best thing that could happen to Victor Wembanyama. Victor averaged 21 a game, right? And he did it while being the best player, but not being treated as such. I can't tell you how many times. I mean, every game, Wemby had clear established position, or at times even just wide open, and guys would overlook him. Chris Paul isn't going to make those mistakes. If Wemby has an advantage, and he has clear established position, guess who's getting the basketball? Wemby. If Wemby is wide open, guess who's getting the basketball? Wemby. Chris Paul is probably going to get 5 assists a game, and Wemby is going to get 10 points a game. I wouldn't be shocked if Wemby is a 30-point-a-game guy next season. Like, genuinely. I think it depends on how many games Chris Paul plays and how many minutes. But, like, if Chris Paul plays, 30 minutes a game, 27 minutes a game, something like that, and, plays at least 65, 70 games, I think Wemby could potentially be a 30-point-a-game scorer, right? Because again, I just think Chris Paul's going to make things so incredibly easy for Wemby. I think Wemby's going to be like, wow, where's this guy been my whole life, right? Like, because Chris Paul, it's what he does. Point guard, right? Like, this guy is going to make things, he's going to simplify things so much for Victor. And just the help for the growth and development. Like, I think you start adding up and you start looking at things and you're like, just the natural progression from year 1 to year 2. The chip on his shoulder from losing in the gold medal game. And the experience he got from that run. And then Chris Paul being added. You start going down the list, start checking things off. It's like, Victor's coming, right? Again, I'm not going to put a ceiling on him. Maybe we do get through the end of the season and it's like, oh, Wemby's the best player in the league. It might not even be a thought, right? Like, it's very possible. But I think realistic expectations, because you have to earn your stripes. You have to kind of make your way, which is fine. Every player had to do it, from Michael Jordan to LeBron James to Kobe Bryant to Magic, Kareem, all of them, right? So I'm okay letting Wemby kind of earn his stripes and go through his ups and downs and really learn and grasp the understanding of the game. And, I think in a year or two, we look up and it's like, oh, wow, Victor is the best player in the league. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you think he's going to be the best player in the league next year? Do you think, top 10, top 15 is more realistic? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.